the end, the sweet smell of crossing the finish line. Oh wait, that's just Maxwell's general stench after a 2-month backpacking excursion with no shower. Sorry. So, what have we learned in the second half of our little game? Well, with Wilson up first, it's no surprise we didn't learn much, even with his lawyer there. He bitterly admitted to not having sexual relations with that woman, and also that he apparently wore diapers until he was in the 5th grade. Wilson explains he was in the basement with Annie around the time our millionaire was murdered, but he lost her? He also spouts a totally unsupported and out-of-nowhere theory that the winner was actually the murderer? Next up was the confession, and I use this phrase loosely, of Annie Q. Donovan. Annie fumbled and fought her way through a loosely tied tale of how she killed Lillian, explaining she did it with something hard. The investigator tried to convince her she was witness in the basement at the hour of Lillian's death, attempting to discover who the 16-year-old was covering for. Then, in a surprise twist, the top-notch NYPD finally brought in Sir Charles Danger Nuremberg. Sir Charles came in claiming quite dramatically and, convincingly, that he knew absolutely nothing of Lillian's death, though he was the winner, and according to Wilson, winner equals killer. But regardless, our beloved and evasive Swedish knight was adamant he was oblivious to the murder. Through his hysterics, Sir Charles did happen to mention a 7th character those of you who haven't picked up on our not-so-subtle hint about the MySpaces didn't know about. Maxwell Henry Hunt. This 20-year-old free spirit has spent the past few months on a solo hike through Europe to handle his grief. He eloquently explained to the investigator that losing someone you love is like having a limb ripped off! And also, that Lillian's death led to the amputation of half his body. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Anyway, in a theme of twists, Maxwell explains quite bitterly that Pip and Lillian were involved in a secret relationship before he and she got together. He explained Pip was not too pleased when Lillian flew him over to break up with him. He concludes with explaining that should he so much as see Dr. Killick, he will not be able to contain his quasi-hippie drifter rage. Victoria Alexander V made her second appearance without the tissue and tears. She claimed to have been peeing at the time of the murder, after drinking too much, tea? Come on, really? A little jealousy was slowly revealed as she nervously admitted she was envious of Lillian's relationship with her uncle, and always feared Henry would tell too much to Lillian. I wonder why he trusted Lillian over you, Victoria? Blair Von Rhodes started her interview with a few snide remarks, and finished it with a fact none of us saw coming. Her brother is gay! Blair's lawyer tried to constrain her vivacious client, but Blair would have none of it. She burst into a monologue worthy of Shakespeare, explaining just how close the Von Rhodes twins are and that they would do anything for one another. Even out them to a perfect stranger. And finally, the man we've all been waiting for, the one, the only, the scorned lover, Pip R. Killick. Dr. K broke down in near tears when told the jig was up. He confessed a long tale of trepidation, explaining how he had fell in love with Lillian when she was not yet 19. They had kept their relationship private by communicating strictly through love letters. How Edwardian of you, Pip. Our English neurosurgeon finished his interview by claiming he had definitely not killed Lillian Giles Moore. And in the words of the investigator, that's what everyone is saying, Pip. But the fact is, they've got a dead millionaire in the cemetery, and one of you 6 party guests put her there. So, who do you think murdered Lillian Giles Moore? Was it Sir Charles Danger Nuremberg, poorly acting out his feigned ignorance of Lillian's death? Did he get angry about what he had won? Or is he really just that clueless?
So Lily's really dead, really?
Or was it Annie Quince Donovan, seemingly innocent 16-year-old churchgoer? Was she jealous of all that Lillian had and had yet to have? Or was she simply covering for a friend?
But I
did it?
Was it one of the Von Rhodes twins, envious of the company Lillian kept or sick of constantly being in her shadow? Or is their snobby and cold demeanor simply a guard to cover their grief at the loss of their closest friend?
No, it is one thing to question me, but never my relationship with my brother.
Or was it Maxwell Henry Hunt, so obsessed he refused to share Lillian with the rest of the world? Or did he and Lillian find that rare and beautiful thing they call true love?
And with the kind of love that Lillian and I had, it was more like having my body cut in half.
What about Pip Arkillick, hurt and enraged at being left for a younger, more spontaneous man? Or did he silently let his heart break while someone else took care of Lillian?
She very plainly told me that she wasn't interested in keeping our relationship going.
Or finally, did Lillian's ex-aunt Victoria Alexander V do the job? Jealous that Lillian stayed close to her uncle? Did Lillian actually know something she shouldn't? Did Victoria stop her before she could tell the world? Or is Victoria really as grieved as she said she was? Could Victoria simply have not cared less about Lillian, alive or dead, and sit on the toilet while her former niece's life was stolen?
They had a very open relationship. He talked more to her than me sometimes.
Well, we've done our job. We've presented you with enough clues to form a theory on how Lillian died. So now it's your turn. 3 players will be presented with one of 3 prizes. Either an original ringtone or song made by the mastermind behind ClueTube, the voice behind Lillian and these ever-enjoyable update videos. A complete set of original handwritten scripts, or a third prize yet to be named. Not quite figured that one out yet. The ClueTube player who messages in the closest theory to what actually happened gets first pick of these 3. Second pick goes to most creative theory sent in, and the third prize will go to the MVP, the most involved player throughout the season. Submit your theories with a link to a picture of yourself via the ClueTube 88 private messaging system. So, if you need to rewatch the videos, well, that's why we've uploaded them to YouTube, isn't it? In conclusion, solidify your theories and submit them to win. Feel free to brainstorm in the comment section. Good luck and happy playing. Oh, and P.S. If more than one person submit the same theory, the one who submitted it first will get the cred. So don't procrastinate. XOXO. We here at ClueTube.